Well, let's put it this way. As a climate council, when we're communicating scientific information to the public, we use the most authoritative direct sources of information. That is the peer-reviewed scientific literature, major assessments of that literature like the IPCC, and the most authoritative, reliable observations of how the climate system is changing from the Bureau of Meteorology, for example. We don't go to sources like Wikipedia. I think it's important that the scientific information that's out there in the public discourse is based on absolutely the best science we can put forward. I'll just close with a couple images. This goes back to the Enlightenment, where we actually had interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary human beings, had expertise in arts, letters, history, languages, math, science. It's all embodied in one person, the so-called Renaissance man. Now, I Googled Renaissance man to see if I could find if there are any Renaissance women. And the answer was no, there aren't if you go into Google. I suspect there were Renaissance women, but they didn't get the notoriety and credit that Renaissance men did. So anyway, I think we need Renaissance people at the moment. But now there's a real trick here, is that the amount of knowledge around was many orders of magnitude less at the time that Leonardo da Vinci lived than now. I think it's impossible for one human brain to be able to encompass the depth of knowledge we actually need in many of these areas to tackle the complex problems that we do. So one of the things we're trying at the Australian National University is not to have Renaissance men, but to have Renaissance teams. And this is a Renaissance team we've put together that's looking at water issues, which are some of the biggest issues we face in Australia. And these colleagues come from natural sciences, social sciences, law, economics, humanities. This chap up there with the umbrella is an artist, and he uses visual art to get Australians to think about their relationship to the hydrological cycle. It's a very interesting group, and I think we're doing some innovative things. So with that, I will leave it, and hopefully we have some time for discussion.
The workshops, what would the meeting grounds between such different modes of knowledge look like? Do you have any ideas or experiences there?
Not many. I think the people who are challenging us a lot from the research community are people from the creative arts. So we're just starting some projects in Canberra that involve artists, musicians, and so on. And I've been quite amazed what they do. To give you an example, we had a 2-day workshop at our university on some of the water issues that face Australia, which are huge. One of which are salinity, salt coming up in the landscape. So we asked various people from the university to come from their disciplines, their perspectives, and give talks. And so we had some really fantastic presentations. We had some social scientists talking about governance in our big river basin and how it's not working properly. We had scientists talking about what you might need to do. Then we asked this guy with the umbrella, the artist, and what he did for his presentation was he walked in with a painting, an artist's interpretation of a saline landscape, big painting, just put it up there. He had 20 minutes like everybody else. And then he had 3 musicians come in, and he said, spontaneously compose something in reaction to that visual image. And it was quite spectacular in its effect of a completely different perspective on a saline landscape, not intellectual, but how people felt about it. So when you're dealing with the general public, people react to issues not just in intellectual ways, they react with issues in all sorts of different ways. And so one of the things we're learning is that by combining these, you actually can have a much more powerful message. It's not that you leave out the understanding that researchers have got, but when you combine it with how people from other human endeavors are reacting to this, you get quite a powerful experience out of it. So that's one of the things we're trying to do, is to involve the people from the artistic side of things on a lot of these environmental issues. Well, let's put it this way. As a climate council, when we're communicating scientific information to the public, we use the most authoritative direct sources of information. That is the peer-reviewed scientific literature, major assessments of that literature like the IPCC, and the most authoritative, reliable observations of how the climate system is changing from the Bureau of Meteorology, for example. We don't go to sources like Wikipedia. I think it's important that the scientific information that's out there in the public discourse is based on absolutely the best science we can put forward.